Everybody, it's another episode of the Zapp Comics Radio Podcast. I'm very excited about this one because we're going to be talking about one of my all-time favorite movies, Back to the Future, which I'm sure you guys all love, which is why you guys are all here. We got a couple new guys this week. You know, Johnny's back. Dr. Johnny Knowles here.
Hi.
You know, the Zapp intern, the most glorified intern. And we got another Zapp family member here, Mr.
Rusty.
Or
Nick, but mostly Rusty.
Okay. We call him Rusty Bottoms. His name's Nick. You'll see him bounce around the stores a little bit.
Mostly bouncing.
And we got Johnny's brother-in-law and also a good friend of ours, Mr.
Jay Green.
Jay Green.
This is the part of the show where you look like, ooh, I wonder what else he's been in.
He's everywhere. So Jay's a good friend of ours, so I wanted him on because I know how much he loves Back to the Future. The reason I want to talk Back to the Future is because, you know, me and Johnny and Jay are all about the same age. We're 38, 39 years old. You guys are closer to 40 than me, but I won't kind of, say that. But anyways.
I'm out.
So this came out in 1985, July 3rd, 1985. And it wasn't supposed to be anything big, and it was enormous. I loved every second of it. I watched it over and over again. My mother worked at a video store, and I remember she would rent it for me every time she would come home. And we would just watch it scene for scene, over and over. One of my first TV crushes was Leah Thompson. I loved her. That's her name, right?
Old Leah Thompson? Or
no,
young
the young one.
The young one.
Yeah, when she was a kid, not when she plays the mother.
I don't know.
She had those jowls going.
When she's walking in with the the soup or whatever she's got there, something about me went, hey.
Yeah, she was one of my favorite TV crushes. So, but this movie, like, you watch it now and it's just as good. You know, I mean, like, Nick, you're 21 years old, right?
Yeah, 21.
And this is your favorite movie?
Yeah, one of my favorite movies.
Why do you love it so much? It
was just an awesome movie to watch as a kid. Your best friend's a crazy scientist, and he makes a time machine out of a DeLorean, which was the coolest car at the time, and then you get to go back in time and have some fun, but, you know, it didn't work out that way for him. But it was a cool concept, and a hoverboard, which now we finally have thanks to science. Yeah,
with the hoverboard and the whole skateboarding thing, because at that time, you know, Tony Hawk was huge. You know, as he was young, because I remember seeing him at my local bike shop. They did a tour. Him, Jason Lee, and all of them were touring, and I remember seeing Tony Hawk. And skateboarding was becoming it was a big fad in with breakdancing and stuff like that at that time. And Marty McFly made it cool. You know, especially when he's holding on to the back of a car. We all wanted to do that. You couldn't because you get run over, but we wanted to do that, you know. So, I mean, and then, you know, in 1985 through 1955, aside from, a few things, it's almost the same. You know what I mean? Like, the towns look the same. I mean, there's malls, but as far as, technology, you had, color TV and maybe, a cordless phone. It wasn't, from 85 to now. So you can relate to it. Like, when he's at the diner, I think of going to the diner with my parents all the time, sitting at the counter with, they're drinking coffee and just the feel of it, you know, the mayor races and stuff like that. It was just in the clock tower because we had one in my town. So you relate to it. I mean, I was 8 years old. You know.
But you also had a lot of big things in there now that aren't big now, such as Tab.
Yeah, Tab. Yeah,
wearing a vest.
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
Hey, I
rock a vest all the time, and everybody says, "Hey, it's your Marty," you know.
Did you do just jump ship?
But it's a fun movie, and it could have been a bomb because, my favorite movie, Jaws. If the shark had worked, that movie would have been so corny and so awful because you would have just saw this big. Because at the end of this Jaws, when that shark comes up onto the boat, it's one of the worst scenes when it just kind of flops on the boat. It's awful.
They should have used a real shark.
All the other times. Well, he ended up dying a year later, Quint, so they might as well just killed him then.
That's true.
You can't see this, but actually Rusty's watch is from 1985, apparently.
It looks like it is.
Hey, those Casio Kmart watches will last.
So, I mean, Eric Stoltz originally played this part, and I know they filmed it for a few weeks, right? And him and the producer said, you know what, this isn't working. Because they felt like he was acting too much, not being, and he couldn't skateboard. He just didn't feel right, and I know Michael J. Fox, they wouldn't let him off Family Ties. And then finally they agreed to it, and they changed it. And also, the DeLorean, which this would have killed the movie, because this is one of the things that killed Indiana Jones 4, was it was supposed to be the refrigerator. You were supposed to get a refrigerator and then and blow yourself up or by an atomic bomb site, and then that's how you get back in time. And they were afraid kids would get in refrigerators and lock themselves up
and find atomic bomb sites.
So that makes me think these mistakes that got fixed.
Yeah, but meanwhile, accident. Kids went out and started buying DeLoreans, and we just crashed the whole industry.
Yeah. I think he crashed the whole industry himself. Wasn't he
Well, they're
he
all,
got into some serious trouble.
Well, yeah, they
all
were.
high on coke.
Yeah, they went bankrupt real
hiding
quick.
They were hiding coke in the cars
Yeah.
and shipping them, and also due to the fact that the cars can't reach 88 miles an hour.
Yeah,
which
they
is
weren't
the
good
pinnacle.
cars.
Yeah, no, they break down now. People are collecting them now, and they.
You mean a
just
car
don't
made of
run.
aluminum isn't going to
Yeah,
work?
yeah. The engine too, probably.
Well,
but I mean-
like when you park next to somebody, you can't put up the door, you can't get out.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
gull
but
wing
you
doors.
park in like a parking lot 3 miles away anyway. Why do you care?
Yeah, you park. You're like an old lady. You park way
Hey,
over
I got
there.
legs, I could walk.
Nobody said you couldn't walk.
But wait,
I
we
could
would
drive.
all buy a DeLorean if we were offered one, because I know I would. It's the coolest
But
thing.
they're not really like.
They don't come with flux capacitors.
No.
Yeah,
But
see,
you can make them.
You know, I went and bought a new car last year, and the guy looks at me and he goes, "In the dashboard, you got Pandora, you got this app, you got that app." I'm like, time circuits. Time circuits. It's all about time circuits.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Well, soon we'll be able to upgrade and get a Mr. Fusion. I hope so.
Yeah, we'll see. The reason why you can't go down because the way the door's open, you can't park next to somebody because the door would just. So you'd have Johnny. You'd actually be good for this. 'Cause you park by nobody.
Well, I know. That's what I was saying. You can't.
That's what we need. Everybody has DeLoreans. We'll start walking a little bit more. The world will get healthier. That's the answer. Doc Brown knew. DeLoreans are the way to go.
Yeah. So I mean, this movie, I think it hit at the right time. Michael J. Fox, he was. I mean, he was Mr. 80s. I mean, we loved him. He was in everything. Family Ties, Teen Wolf.
Midnight Madness.
Your favorite movie, Midnight Madness. He was in everything. Like he was like the poster child of our our generation, and it just hit. And of course Doc Brown was awesome. I mean, that was supposed to be. I think somebody else was supposed to be up for that, but he wasn't available, and they picked him second. I forget who it was.
Jay?
I don't know, but there's a lot of dead air all of a sudden. But yeah.
No, it just like, why do you love this movie, Jay? Like, why is this movie like?
You know what? It was just fun. I remember seeing it. I was 9 years old, I guess, and it was like, oh, this is interesting and fun, and it hit everywhere. Because I remember we went and saw it for my birthday party with like 5 other kids, and my mom, my dad were there, and they were screaming and laughing, we were screaming and laughing. It hit all generations, and it was just fun. The script was good. It was just, I can't keep saying it. It was just
a fun movie. Yeah,
it was just a fun movie. It wasn't any pretentiousness to it or anything. It was just fun, and not for nothing, Huey Lewis in the News.
Yeah, the soundtrack.
I mean, the soundtrack was just fantastic, and everybody, for how many people don't know that Huey Lewis hated doing soundtracks, didn't want to do it, and then they screwed him over with Ghostbusters, and he said, well, if they're going to do it, they're probably going to do it again, let me write this, and he writes Power of Love, and it's, or the one my sister keeps thinking is the theme song is Back in Time, like, no, Power of Love, no one cares about Back in Time, Power of Love, and it's just, even that song, when it comes on the radio, I'm like, oh, I'm going to put this on.
Yeah, it's in... It's a song that your parents would like too. It's not like it was like Metallica or something like that.
You haven't met my mom.
Yeah. I met your mom plenty of times. Well, your mother's a wonderful lady. So, like, Johnny, you like everything. I mean, especially from this generation. Why do you? I
mean, like you just said, like it's a fun movie. I mean, it's similar, same thing. Like it was for my birthday. I went for my sister's birthday. She was older than me. We went for it. And also it was like that first. Like when our age, they had summer movies, but it's not like now where the whole summer is blockbuster,
week after week after week, yeah.
And that was really when the beginning when they had like those, like a big summer movie. You know what I mean? Like, and it was it's just a fun movie. I mean, it's funny. There's action. There's really no slow parts in it.
It's sci-fi-ish.
Yeah.
But you also remember it was the new stuff all the kids could relate to. When they went back to 55, that's when our parents could start relating to it. Oh, I remember that, And
yeah, because I mean, when we were kids, our parents were born in the late they were around in the late 40s and the 50s, so that's what they knew. Whether it was them or their parents, they were familiar to it. So it wasn't. That's why I think 2 and 3 they're okay. But once you get into that type of stuff, you don't relate to it as much. I know you love them.
2's good.
I'm not saying not good. It's just that nothing compares to 1.
No, but
3's better than 2.
Yeah,
No,
I agree.
3 is better than 2.
3's a lot of fun.
No, because I remember when I was in the
fun.
Wild West and I met ZZ Top. So.
Yeah.
3's a fun movie.
3's fun, but I enjoy 2 because there's a lot of small parts about 2 that if you pay attention to, you're like, what was he doing? But while
I know.
he was gone,
I'm just saying the movie
when they go
itself,
back and he opens up that big briefcase full of money from every time period. What was Doc doing with all that time he had? He was having some fun. So
well, listen. At the end of 1, when he flies away, that was so cool because you're like, It just left it so open. You're like, what's going on?
Well, like
you know?
the thing, and then to be continued with
Yep.
the question
Yeah.
mark, and like it was like, well, it's
And then
what's
they're
going to
secretly change his girlfriend to Elizabeth Shue.
Well, didn't she get really sick? I think
Elizabeth Shue?
No, the first one.
No, she wanted a raise.
Was that what it
Yeah, and
was?
they said, "Screw you, we're getting Elizabeth Shue."
Oh, so it was kind
And
of.
she went, "Who's Elizabeth Shue?" And they said, "Oh, you'll know."
I didn't realize that. Okay,
Or maybe she did get sick, and
I
just
thought she got
made her
sick
life
and she
worse. I
couldn't.
don't
She
know.
couldn't do it. That's why I always thought. I'm not sure if it was true.
I thought, or somebody like in her family got sick,
Somebody got. So she had.
like
she
her
couldn't do
mother
it for
or
some
something,
reason.
and then she couldn't do it. And
I'm sticking to my guns.
She wanted a race.
Call in, let us know.
It also begs the question: if you went back in time and you had to quickly think of a new name, would you go with Calvin Klein, the name on your boxer shorts, or would
Well-
you think of something better?
Well, he didn't.
Well,
pick
he didn't go with
yeah.
it. She did. She
Yeah.
just said to Calvin because she's like, "Why does your mother write your name on all your underwear?"
Oh, remember, because then he went back in time even further and became Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a good name choice.
Yeah.
You want to be remembered as Clint Eastwood, even now. He's a awesome cowboy, and now he's a phenomenal director. You always want to be Clint
You,
Eastwood.
No,
and
I
I,
know.
you and I have very different definitions of phenomenal.
No, but like the I know the sneak like in the future ones, the sneakers, like certain scenes in like 2 are good, but the movie overall it's kind of like
It jumps too much.
it jumps too much.
Yeah.
But the beginning's kind of neat.
A movie
Like
about
when-
time travel jumps too much.
not-
No, but
like-
even if you look at like the first one, they're pretty much in 1955.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're trying to get home. The third one, they're in what 1850? What is it? 1855?
I don't remember the year, but
Yeah, 1855.
And like that's pretty much the movie. And then they come. You know what I mean?
I think the only part of the second one that kind of screws it a little bit is when he goes back to 1985 and it's the whole, he's already used the gray sports algorithm and everything. I think when he was in the future was very cool.
Yes.
And then when you went back to 1955 and you see it all from a different perspective, I thought those 2 parts really, they nailed it.
Yeah.
It was the middle part of the movie, the meat of the movie that wasn't so good.
Yeah.
But, but the other pieces, I think they were just fine. They were fun.
yeah, no, I know, and I just like there's certain scenes I remember distinctly. Like I was a kid, like in 1985 in October we had moved to another house in another town, but I lived next to the town I grew up in, so my best friend would still come over. It was close, and the scene where Marty is talking to his dad back in 1955, and he's trying to tell him like to be like a man, and he's like all nervous, and he says to him, "God damn it, George, swear." I mean, we never cursed because I was like 8, 9. We would replay that. We would rewind it over and over and over on our VHS, which I'm not sure if you even know what that is.
Oh, I know what a VHS is.
Okay,
Fuck,
so
I
we would
got
rewind
collect.
it over and
You
over.
saw the horror movie.
Yeah, I saw the horror movie.
So I mean, it would just crack us up. I don't know why. We would just die laughing.
Let's talk about how
every
weird
single
that
time.
guy became. What's his name? The dad.
Oh, yeah, he sued them because they used his likeness in 2 and 3.
Yeah, he wasn't
Yeah.
going to do it, and then they used like a guy like
Crispin
kinda looked
Glover.
Like,
Yeah, Crispin Glover.
Crispin Glover. He just became a
And he did that movie with all the rats.
freak. Yeah.
A few
Yeah.
years ago.
But he did that. What? He was in Charlie's Angels.
Yes, he's the guy with the
Bad
weird
guy,
hair
yeah.
fetish in Charlie's
And he was
Angels.
great in it because he was so like nervous and like quirky and his greasy hair. Especially when they show us, I love the beginning when they show the family how dysfunctional they are.
Yeah.
They're all at the table, and and when you yell at him, when Biff comes in and he just yells at him, and he's
Well, my
like,
favorite part is when he's like, "Oh, you know what, Biff? You sexually assaulted my current wife. Let me hire you to wax my cars."
He attempted.
yeah,
So give a little slack.
Yeah.
But like the beginning, I mean, that's one of the great things. Like, there's nothing on. It's quiet. You see him walking around. What does he do? In the thing. I just love that beginning with the guitar. I mean,
I just want the amp.
you know what it is.
All
You know what it
that.
is though. The movie felt very like real, like it was happening. I mean, obviously that amp is a little overblown, but
And the Libyans.
well, yeah.
Well, the
But,
time
like,
travel.
You know what? At the time, it was the Libyans.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was-
yeah.
in the mall with the little camera hut. You know what I mean? And like, if you went to the mall that time of night, there was because people didn't work overnight at the time, like
Yeah.
the stocking shelf. The mall was empty. It was called Twin Pines Mall.
Twin Pines,
Pines
yeah.
Mall.
Which you knew it was a forest that
Yeah.
they took down, and it looked. The mall looked so like generic mall. It's like it just makes me like think back as a kid, like everything we can relate to, everything he's doing, what he's wearing, the skateboarding, everything. It's
You
like
still have the vest.
Well,
I wear the vest all the time.
it's
You know
my
it.
favorite vest. of
you know
yours.
what's funny about that? You say about that, like with the mall, like it shows like people don't pay attention. Like it's the Twin Pines in the beginning,
But at the
and then
end.
when he comes in, he hits the tree and it's a lone pine.
Yeah.
Like I remember seeing that as a kid, and I noticed that. And then people are like,
Yeah,
20 years later, like, well, I've never.
Well, 'cause you know what, you know, when you know-
I never
read it.
Like,
I never noticed that till right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he hits a tree. They
Yeah.
change it. At the very end, you see it. That sign's different at the beginning.
Now I know.
There's
I've
a
learned
I think
something
J.C.
today.
Penney's in the background. Like it was
That's- yeah.
classic. This is what was
Well, when he
big back
leaves
in.
when he leaves Doc's place, there's a Toys R Us, an old Toys R Us out on that street, and I love that when you see those movies from thing, and like you see all the old stores and stuff like that.
It reminds you of.
When
I
we
think
were-
that's
yeah.
why. I mean, it's so dear to us. But that's why I was like with you. You're young. Like this is nothing is
Yeah,
you.
I don't have these memories.
I know, but you love. But the movie worked because everyone
Yeah.
loves this movie.
Yeah.
I never met anybody who hates the movie. I know people who don't like Michael J. Fox, so they don't. They don't like
Michael
the,
J.
Yeah,
Fox.
that's like
They don't
That's
like the
weird.
movies. People don't like them.
You also got to think about the impact of the movie because even today they're remaking the Nikes from the second
Oh, yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
They're remaking the Mattel pink hoverboard, and kids my age and kids.
I've got it.
Yeah, Jay's got it. Everyone's still buying it. Everyone just loves this
Let me
movie.
just tell you, if you were to place it on the ground and jump off a table, not gonna work.
He's got the bruises to prove it.
Not gonna work.
No, and in Biff, the name Biff is such a. I know Biff Loman.
Well, yeah.
But Biff, it just and he looks like a Biff. You know what I mean? Like he just.
and it's a '50s name too.
yeah,
like,
it's a '50s name.
No
and
one's named Biff anymore.
It
Sadly.
just
No one's named
was it-
George or Marty anymore either.
Yeah.
Mhm.
George
Or
will be Marty
Lorraine.
now. Yeah, Lorraine.
Yeah,
I knew
yeah.
Lorraine in high school. So there you go.
I don't know,
Another
but
name-
I think the guy who doesn't get enough respect in the movie, Marvin Berry.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
Your cousin.
Your cousin Marvin.
No, that scene too when he's shredding the guitar and they're like, "What are you doing?"
And they're all staring.
But that was our generation with like Eddie Van Halen and Slash or whatever. That's what we did. But like they're like, what's going on? Like and the way he silences that entire room, it's like he ruined it. But like he was doing what he's supposed to do, like what the '80s generation got into with shredding guitars.
You know what's funny? Like you were saying before, like with the Libyans, like the impact that it made. Because even after that, anytime you saw a van like that, you called it a terrorist van because of the movie. Like I mean, we always did.
I
Like
did.
I
never
still
did.
do.
yeah, like whenever you see a van like
that must
that,
be from
yeah.
your family because I never did.
No, well, not.
I just look at the Volkswagen. Man.
I've got to change
No,
my
he's
car.
it's terrorist van because it was that was the van. Whenever you saw it.
I just love
Sorry.
when you say that bazooka, that classic bazooka. That's the best part.
Going into the
By the way, that's the first time anyone's ever segued from Chuck Berry to Libyans.
First and only time here on Zapp Comics.
But now, did your oldest sister like this movie? Did your parents like this movie?
Yeah,
Like, how did you?
I found this movie from my dad. My dad had him on VHS, and just like Star Wars, sat me down and it's son. Today it's time to learn, and that's how I got my lessons. That's why I was such a slacker in high school. Marty McFly was not the best thing. Never met that older son.
Well, if you watch Family Ties, he was completely opposite.
yeah,
He was Mr. School.
I don't remember Family Ties that much. It's a little too.
You should watch.
You know the scary part
I'll
is
turn my life around. through
scary
Family
part is
Ties.
when he started
Sha-na-na-na.
Back to the Future. He was 24 years old. Because he looked really young.
Yeah.
Like you think he played a kid, but
he aged pretty well though. Even now, he
Yeah.
doesn't look as old as he.
No, I know he looks young.
Yeah.
That's why he had kind of had like a downfall a little bit because he was too young looking. Like
And
he
Huey Lewis was one of the teachers.
Yep, he was the
Oh, was he?
for the when they were trying out for the
Talent show
band,
for
yeah,
the dance.
and he said they were too loud.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't remember. I watched Family Ties.
And
I
he was
haven't
playing
seen-
Power of Love then.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Look at that.
Because he was supposed to be Mr. Ghostbuster, but
Yes.
right, they gave it to Ray Parker Jr. Right?
Yeah, well, he said no.
He said, "Oh, he said no."
He
He
didn't
said
want-
no.
yeah.
He didn't want to sell out.
Okay.
And
But everybody thinks it's him, though. If you ask a lot of people who did the Ghostbusters song, they think it's.
Well, that's
well,
why
because
he sued him.
he
Yeah.
stole the song.
yeah, no,
It was I Want a New Drug turned into Ghostbusters.
yeah. So, but that's the thing. Our generation had these movies, like that are timeless. Ghostbusters, Gremlins, Back to the Future. I these movies. I will never get tired of watching them.
Well, also, I mean, it was around. Like, it didn't stay for 2 weeks and go
Oh,
out.
no, they stayed for a year.
They stayed for ever.
6
and
months,
then, yeah.
8 months, 10 months, and then it took forever to get it on VHS.
Yeah.
Where now it's in a theater, and then within it comes out in July, and then by October you have it in your hands. You know what I mean? Which is great because you get it, but there's something about going to the movies and seeing. Because I remember seeing Ghostbusters and with my dad, and it was only like one Cineplex, and there was no like here now. You get a theater every corner. And I remember waiting in line forever, and guys dressed up like Ghostbusters outside. 'Cause it was a big event. It was a big movie.
Well, people do that now more than ever, dressing up.
No, but people who worked there were dressed up.
Oh,
Not
okay.
people
Yeah.
going there dressed up. I mean,
Okay.
like the workers were dressed up as Ghostbusters, which is it's awesome. I mean, I know there's people cosplay now and all. That's a whole different story. Like they have midnight showings. They didn't have midnight showings back then. You just went.
I went as Lorraine. The old one.
I didn't know that she is named after Lorraine Gary from the Jaws franchises.
I did not know that.
Because she is married to the Universal CEO or whatever. So he named Lorraine. That's why the Lorraine character is Lorraine, because her name is Lorraine Gary.
A little bit of brown nosing. I like it.
Yep. And she quit Jaws after 4 because she quit acting after Jaws 4 got such bad reviews.
I think everybody should have quit
She
acting
quit.
after Jaws 4.
Well, Mario Van Peebles didn't quit, unfortunately.
And Michael Caine kept going.
Yeah.
She wasn't in the
We got
Jaws
Alfred.
3D from
No, she wasn't. That was a whole separate
yeah,
thing.
they were in SeaWorld. and-
SeaWorld.
Darn.
That was SeaWorld. Which is as bad as that movie is, I love it because that's the only one I saw in the theater.
Mhm.
And I used to go to SeaWorld every year.
Ah.
And they had all the Jaws stuff there. They were filming it when I was down there, so I have an attachment to it. The movie's awful, but I love it because I just...
Are you in the background?
No, I wasn't like you're not there, but I mean
Is
they
there like
had
a
all
panning
the
shot and
props
you
set
just
up
give them two
and like
thumbs up?
and going into the tunnel underwater.
Yeah, that.
and
yeah.
the water skiers and all that. The way that I think they changed a lot of it, but the park itself with the way it was set up was exactly how it was when I was there. So, but like Jaws is different. Jaws is it's
It's
almost
about a shark.
No, I'm just saying like Jaws it's not enjoyable. I love it, but it's not like Back to the Future is just it's just like you feel good.
It's a
watching
different
it.
paced movie.
Yeah,
Well,
and
Well, yeah. Well, Jaws is a horror movie.
Yeah,
you're gonna
yeah.
have. I mean, it's
fun,
action,
though.
but it's
there's a lot of fun parts in Jaws.
it is. I mean, but it's not the same kind of fun as like.
No, I know.
Getting in a
like,
DeLorean and going
just-
back
well,
to time.
yeah, and I mean, he's going to disappear. So I mean, there is something
Yeah.
big that's going to happen.
Which also, that's a really cool concept. We haven't touched on that. That if he didn't fix everything, he was starting to cease to be and just fading away, which was an awesome effect. Even when I was a kid, I was like, oh my god, if he doesn't fix this, he's just going to poof. And then when he's playing the guitar and his hand starts peeling away, that was awesome even for me. And
And Uncle Joey being in the crib,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and he's
Gotta
like,
get
"Oh,
used
get
to
used to that
these
kid."
bars.
But as the picture, like, okay, so there were three people
Yeah.
in the picture, right?
Yeah.
The brother, the sister, and him, and right. Why, when people were disappearing, weren't they more centered in the picture? Because if they weren't there, if they didn't
See, that's
exist,
something, yeah.
if they didn't exist, why would they stand off to the side? Because then that just means their parents were crappy photographers.
they just really liked the well.
Yes,
in
they
the-
were like.
Yeah.
So they were showing off her well.
Yeah. No, it's like I can't like everybody I show this movie to, they all love it, no matter who it is, and I just want to know why we love it so much. Like I know why I love it.
Why do you love it, Corey?
It's just because it was me. It's my childhood. It's like everything it touches upon. Like I wasn't into skateboarding, but my brother was a huge skateboarder. And I was into the cars. My dad was in the cars. So even though DeLorean isn't like a anything great, but at the time it was hot for a minute. Like it was like the new Camaro type of thing. It was like big. It'd be like if somebody got a new Ford Mustang or something.
Well, you'll laugh, but I actually have the theme song on my my phone. From when I go to the gym, when I go running, so you start running, dun, 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 dun. I'm like, I can run 88 miles an hour. See what
Yeah,
happens
no,
here.
it's great.
I'm gonna go back in time.
Yeah, and in the way that the fire tracks on the road.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the town. The way the town's set up in 1955, I love. It
Yeah,
just
why
has
didn't
that-
their legs burn up?
What's that?
Why didn't their legs burn up when Einstein went through it and the fire tracks going right through their legs? Not once did anybody go, "Oh, that hurts."
And why do they have to
Science.
stand over it?
Yeah.
I guess it's just effect. We'll let that slide.
Are you guys,
like
are
the
you
picture.
guys genius scientists? I think not.
I
So
don't
let's
know.
leave
Well,
that to Doc Brown,
listen.
shall we?
Jay just figured out the picture thing, so that blows the movie right out of proportion. Because why aren't they centered?
You're welcome, world.
I think you should write a letter to somebody, Jay.
Dear Doc Brown.
Well, what about the thing that Doc was able to get all the pieces of the letter back to make it all put it back, and he rips it all up and he throws it. So it's like it's the storm and he watches leave. So I mean it's blowing around. He's able to
I'm not sure I like this movie anymore.
blows it all up.
We've officially ripped apart our favorite movie.
And the thing is too is he puts the dog in the car and tells the dog to go. Like where was Peter back
That
then?
still makes my brain hurt trying to figure the math on that one.
The dog comes back.
There's a self-timer, I guess.
I guess I don't know.
Or
There's
a
also-
future where dogs rule the earth.
Yeah,
But the thing is, though,
that's where he
like
went.
certain words like flux capacitor, like you would never know that word, but everybody knows it, and you only have to hear it once, and you know what it is.
Gigawatts.
Gigawatts. Yep, and when he had the garbage disposal in the car, and he's
Mr.
throwing
Fusion.
yeah, it was great.
We've also not mentioned the overarching theme of if you're a bad person, you'll run into manure, and your entire family lineage will know the taste of manure.
Well,
'cause they were bad.
They were the cousins of the O'Doyles,
Yeah.
right? You know,
Something really bad's going to happen to you, O'Doyle. You and your family, I can just feel it.
I love it. Now, your dad. What else did he show you when he showed you like Back to the Future? Was there any other classics?
It went Star Wars, Back to the Future, Gremlins,
Of
which
course.
scared the...
I love that's my
Scared
favorite.
everything
movie. I
out
love
of
that
me.
movie.
Yeah, only now did I really realize it's a good Christmas movie.
I love that movie.
As a kid, it was just that one horrifying scene where he pops out of the water with the chainsaw. And as a kid,
Listen,
I was
that,
like, nope, water
it didn't
fountains
bother me
aren't
as a
good.
kid, but I can see how that messes you up. Because he's like, and he's the way the sound he makes, and he's like, then he was kind of like popping on the floor.
but don't you think, like, say, you put yourself in the time frame of the movie,
Yeah.
right? And Billy ends up marrying what's her face. I gotta figure 10 years down the road, he realized this girl is out of her freaking mind, and that things aren't working out. He's got custody of the kids because she's off on a bender somewhere.
Yeah.
This girl had major issues.
Well, she did. Well, what was it? She had a problem with Santa.
Yeah, 'cause her
Christmas
dad was- her
Santa.
dad
Yeah.
was-
But she didn't just have a problem with Santa. She would go on like a diatribe and had a manifesto about Santa.
Well, what was the one in Gremlins 2? She had another one too. Like
Yeah.
she
I don't
gave,
know. Gremlins
yeah.
2 is awful. I've only seen it twice.
Which one was in
It's
it?
hard to
Christopher
watch.
Lee was in it.
I know. I
Hogan
get
was in it.
It's hard to watch
It's
Gremlins
true.
2. Gremlins 2 is so different. I know. I'm not a fan of it.
Well, it was more. They made it more like a Warner Brothers cartoon.
You know, it's
sort
too,
of.
and I missed it when it came out. I didn't see it until years later,
Okay.
and I was like, it was really hard to watch. Because to me, Gremlins is one and done. I don't need anything else.
Wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to put it in those terms, yeah. But like Back to the Future, I don't. If they do another one, that's it was fine because it was the way it was set up. But Gremlins, it was, as much as I love them, I didn't.
Is that another one that you think they're going to do a
remake.
remake as they've done every other
Gremlins?
movie? No, Back to the Future.
I don't
No,
know.
that one I don't see
I could
happening.
see them doing Gremlins.
Gremlins, I can see.
Gremlins,
Well,
they
they've
keep
been
talking
talking
about.
Gremlins, I can see
Yeah.
them doing like a found footage type movie. We kind of, actually, could be kind of interesting.
That'd be way scarier.
Like I don't mind if they reboot things. Like people, I think are too sensitive to it because to me, if
I mind when they
But-
reboot when they don't need like the whole Spider-Man thing, right? The first 3 had just ended. Yeah, 3 was horrible, and I wish it never happened. But
I don't know what movie you're talking about.
exactly, it's like Godfather 3. It just didn't
Yeah, it
happen.
didn't happen.
Ignore it. But it was only 5 years after that they rebooted the whole. You
you know what it
need
is,
to.
it's all about budget. They want a new actor. They
And I'm
don't have
going to anger a lot of people saying this. It stunk.
What's that?
The Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh, it was awful.
Horrible.
I hated it. It was not good
I,
at all.
I liked 2 better than 1.
Yes, I agree.
2 was a
I
lot
didn't see
better.
2.
But that's because
The new
Yeah.
2?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't see it.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It felt more comic booky than any of the other ones.
Yes.
Yeah,
There was a lot more of the Spider-Man quips in it. You felt like
It's funny. The girl I was dating said that the other night too.
See?
Felt,
There we go.
I felt more comic booky than the other ones.
See, we should see movies together.
You
You
know
can
what the
treat
thing
me.
too with that first one? It's like Peter's a nerd. He's not an outcast. He's not like a loner where he was a nerd. He was beat up. He was getting bullied. He wasn't like helping the kids that were being bullied. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. I just
As long as it's not Tobey Maguire, I'll be happy.
I have no problem with Tobey
He was
Maguire.
fine.
He was fine.
He was.
I love Spider-Man
But
2.
that was the-
1's good. It's a little boring, but it's good. 2, it's fun. 2 is just. I enjoy it. Even though you can rip it apart, I enjoy 2.
He was just the saddest Peter Parker I've ever seen. And whenever I think of Pete, he's always like he's down on his luck for the most part. Like everything's against him, but he's always got a positive outlook. And with that Peter, it was like everything stinks. I'm really sad all the time, but I've got to save people. It didn't feel like Spider-Man to me, even when I saw it. And I saw it when I was in middle school. So yeah,
That makes me sad.
Yeah.
Sorry guys.
What year were you born?
93.
That
What
makes
year
me
did you
sad.
graduate high school there?
94.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go, folks.
There we go. That's why I wanted you to come on here because why Back to the Future? We're like twice your age.
Yeah, because it's
And-
still everything that's awesome to me. I still one day want to buy a hoverboard. One day I'd like a DeLorean that works that I can travel back in time with. These are all future goals of mine.
The funny thing is, when DeLorean was out, that's all people wanted was a
Yeah.
DeLorean that worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's still the quest people are looking for
They did
today.
a Goldberg episode with
Yep.
the DeLorean.
And I have an old crazy scientist named Brown. Doc Brown, that'll help me out. That's you, Corr.
Okay.
That's you. You're my
I'm not a
crazy-
doc, but I mean, there's a doc over there. But-
So both of you just need to like mesh into one
what kind,
person
did they ever say what kind of doctor he was?
of
Well,
science.
yeah, he's like a physicist or something
Yeah,
like
they
that.
never
He has to
really-
be. Yeah, no,
never
yeah,
really
yeah. He's like
he
a
was a mad
scientist.
scientist, Corey. He was
Well,
a
I know
mad
he was,
scientist.
but
Podiatrist.
because that's the other thing too. He was great on Taxi,
Yeah,
and they threw him in there. It just worked.
You know,
I mean,
it was the perfect guy for it. It really was.
You know, great Scott. You
Although
know,
when
just
he's,
the way
when he's
you
sitting there and he's going to play the time star, he goes, or we can go to October 5th, 1955. And he starts thinking about it. He goes, that was a red letter date in science. No, it was not. You were the only one that knew about this.
Yeah.
This isn't like when Einstein discovered relativity and everything else. It can't be a red letter date because only you knew about it.
Yeah.
Well, when would you guys go back? If you had that, where would you go?
If I had to, I'd go back probably to like sometime in the early '80s, just to.
Really, that's what that you have everything you could possibly
Yeah, because you
want
know,
to
And
do.
you're gonna do the movie.
You know why? Because like I think now like we're so spoiled with cell phones and
There were still cell
GoPro
phones
cameras and stuff like
There
that.
were some cell phones in the 80s, weren't there? Towards the end. It was like the first cell phone.
Well, yeah, there
But I'm
was,
talking
but
about
they
like,
were,
for pictures.
Okay, no, that's...
Like back in the day, like you didn't know your picture until like unless you had a Polaroid until like it was developed a week
Yeah.
later, and then you realize none of them came out.
No,
So
I remember
I have
cell
very little pictures of like this hand. You know, we have a good amount of pictures when we were kids, but like there's so many things I did, and I'm like, oh, I wish I took pictures like. You know, like my friends on their bikes or
so
playing
you would
baseball.
find past little Corey?
Yes,
Okay. So
I
you-
know I'd want to be past little Corey, but with my mind, with my mind.
Well, no. We're just going back and you're
Oh,
taking
I'd go back to
observer's
my town.
view.
I'd go back to my town.
So you're
just to-
getting the leather
just to-
jacket,
just
the
to soak
hat,
it
and the
in.
sunglasses, and you're creeping around watching
I
little
wouldn't.
Corey?
I'm not
You
gonna
just
wear
you would
leather.
find the past little Corey and just remember Google.
Google. So yeah, no, I think I'd go back. I mean, you can go back to anything, but
Yeah.
I think just for me personally, I'd go back to when I was a kid, just to relive it.
What would you do, Doctor?
I'd probably do the same thing, but not for like I would go back and buy like old toys,
What was I'm saying? I would
Okay.
do all that
books,
stuff.
and like bring it back because like I know like you say
So the
like
sports almanac.
well do like yeah well like do like you say like to do like Apple and stuff like that like if saying we can't go to the future like we're just going to the past.
You're just going back.
Because that, because you could tell somebody to buy this and everything, but there's no, like, that they're going to even believe what the hell you're
Yeah,
talking
you'd be
about.
old man Biff
Yeah,
Tannen
well, I'd
saying,
wanna go
put
back-
this in a
Yeah.
safe.
I'd want to go back to like the 30s and 40s too, is to see a newsstand and see if you could see like the first Superman on
Yeah.
a newsstand, just to see it. I mean, I don't even care like if I could buy it. I just want to see it because I mean, obviously you could buy,
Well, you
bring
could
it back,
buy it with the
and
loose
sell.
change in your DeLorean.
Yeah, just to make sure it's a date.
Well,
right.
yeah, it's the
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But either way, I would love to see that because I think that's because there's almost no photos of that. You know what I mean? Like now we're so spoiled with. That's what I meant by like. I have so many millions of memories
Yeah.
in my head, but we don't have anything. Now you can just show it. Oh yeah, this happened yesterday. We filmed it. You know, like we did this, whatever. What about you, Jay? What would you do?
You know,
I mean, you can go back
I
to
wouldn't
like,
want a
like,
time
you know,
machine. It's just too fun.
like big events, but I mean, I'm just saying like
I would. You laugh, but I would love to go back to 1776. You know, go to see them sign the Declaration of Independence and all that other.
yeah, but they did arrest you for talking funny.
and Jewish.
Oh, that's right.
Also, do that we would not fit the period clothes.
Yeah, well, you'd have
I
to
just
find
think
them.
you
Yeah.
know something like that
No,
would
it'd
just
be
be
cool.
really cool to
It'd be
see
cool.
and really fun. And then of course I want to go back to 7-year-old me and say, okay, this girl in college is going to talk to you. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. It's going
It all
to
rides
work.
on this one
It's going
point.
to- but also the Mets at 86.
Yeah.
But bet here. The Rams in what was in 2001, I think,
Yep.
or 2002. They're paying off at 500 to 1 to win the Super Bowl. I'm telling you, Kurt Warner is going to be good. These are the things you need to know about. But yeah, like 1776, I think would be cool. I'd love to meet Genghis Khan. I think he'd be a nice guy. It's no, but all those different pieces I would love to see. And I hate to say, I would love to go to dinosaurs.
Oh, I would
Yeah,
too, but
yeah.
I don't know if
Dinosaurs.
you could
Yeah,
breathe the
that's-
air.
yeah,
But I
like-
know I'm just being weird. But
No,
I know.
I'm
of
saying like
course.
that's kind of like whoa. I'm eating. Like that.
It would be
that's
easier
not
to
really-
see
You
the
don't know if
dinosaurs than to
you'd
meet
be
Genghis
eating.
Khan.
You don't know if you'd be eating because they might not be so. It's not like if you go in the woods now, there's a bear there. There's not like you can necessarily going to see it. You know what I mean,
if you go
I'm
looking
not
for
gonna
a
take
bear,
that
the bear's
gamble.
going to
and not for nothing, if you have a gun or something like that, that dinosaur ain't coming near you.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
Well, they don't know.
He's
They
gonna
don't know
think
what a
you're
gun
Yeah,
is.
he's just going to think you're food. You're
I know,
smaller
but
than
you
him.
shoot at him, he's going to be like, "Whoa, this thing! I'm not playing with this."
How do
thing."
you
But
know
then
it's
it's a
gonna
whole
break his
butterfly
skin?
effect. If you screw up something, if you kill a dinosaur,
Oh, the wings
Yeah.
flap and everything
and
changes.
then like they change the future, and then we have
Next
like
thing we know, Rusty's wearing a real watch.
I
Yeah, I
know.
know, right?
This watch has lasted me 3 years and it's not going anywhere.
Now, where would you go back? And
Where would I go back?
Yeah.
I would go to Woodstock. I would go
Which
to
one?
Woodstock. The original.
Okay, I'm just checking.
The second one doesn't count. It was
I'm
just
just-
at the same place.
I'm just checking.
No, I would go to Woodstock. I would see all the musicians I like. I'd meet Jimi Hendrix and tell him.
How would you get near Jimi Hendrix?
I can. I'm good at talking. I can find my way anywhere. I'd be fun. I'd meet Jim. But yeah, that's what I do. I'd go to Woodstock. I would find Little Nick and tell him to learn how to swim better because I'm still not a good swimmer. And
Really, that's what you would do with your time.
That's what you
learn
would
how to
do?
swim.
I would go to.
You would
I
learn
go
to swim better?
No, I would go to Woodstock. I'd tell my tinier self to get better at
Well,
swimming.
first off, you're not
and then I would
tying
make-
yourself
Wait,
in
wait.
Woodstock. You're not even there.
Yeah, that's the whole point of time travel.
No, if you go
No.
back to Woodstock, there's no little Nick.
He's
Yeah,
gonna
no,
make
you
one.
guys made a bunch of different trips. Jay went to
No,
dinosaurs.
we went to,
Genghis
yeah, but he
Khan,
didn't say
and-
you
not
to
at the
tell
same
little
time.
Jay.
Yeah, he did.
He said he's going to go to little Jay and 7-year-old Jay.
Yeah.
Not back in the dinosaurs.
What?
You can't go back to Woodstock and tell little Nick because there ain't no
No,
little Nick.
but I'm saying a separate trip. They're not all one trip.
Okay, I'm just saying. You said
I
I want to go see
understand.
little Nick at Woodstock.
You realize how jealous he is? You guys make separate trips.
Yeah, I want to make more trips. Why do I only get one trip?
You can make trips you want. I'm just saying you can't go back to
You guys
Woodstock.
are too old to time travel.
Unless you steal
Have a
little
heart
Nick
attack.
and bring him back to Woodstock with you.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That'd be creepy.
No, that'd be super cool. I would know it's future me.
No, you would.
Yes, I 100% know.
No.
Yeah, huh? Uh-huh.
Do you get scared though if you like meet 7-year-old Nick and you go, "Hey, I'm 23,
21.
21, crap.
Yeah.
I'm 21-year-old Nick," and little Nick goes, "Oh."
Yeah.
That's fine. Then we could do over. Well, that's what Marty did. Marty did a big do-over. He fixed his whole family around. Well,
Look at his family.
yeah, but for some people, that's the normal. He was just, I don't know. When you think about it, was what Marty did selfish?
Are we sure his older brother wasn't
Well-
John McEnroe?
I know he does look like him. He does. I hated his sister. She was so annoying. Did she
Yeah.
act after that? I don't even remember.
She was on
Bosom
Bosom
Buddies.
Buddies.
Like I said, did she act after that?
Yeah, what is that?
She was in
She was
a couple
probably-
of
What was it,
couple
Bosom
of
Buddies?
things.
Wasn't she in
Before that?
Bachelor Party too? I think.
Yeah, she was in
It
Bachelor
wasn't Bosom
Party.
Buddies before.
Yeah,
Around
but it's the
it,
same
yeah.
actress.
Tom
though.
Hanks, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I remember that show. I never really watched it, but I remember it was
Peter
really good.
Scolari.
For everybody else that wasn't born in the 80s, what was this show about?
Basically, like
He just hears Bosom Buddies and he gets very
Yes.
confused.
it's these two guys,
Can we talk about this on this?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be appropriate.
and they couldn't find like a place to live.
Okay.
And I don't know if there's any more. Like they used to have like these apartment buildings where it was just women, because God forbid women and men living in the same place was horrible.
Okay.
So they dressed up in drag and basically to get an apartment in this building. So like nobody knew, like they had to, when people were around, they had to be like women, and then like
Okay.
shenanigans occurred. So
So cross-dressing shenanigans.
with
Yeah,
Tom
pretty
Hanks.
much.
With Tom Hanks, I'd watch that.
Yeah, I was a big fan of the Odd Couple. With Felix.
The new one?
No, not the new one.
Has anybody seen the new one?
Yeah,
I don't
It's
think
not
so.
bad. Tom Lennon's funny though.
Not in that.
No. Who's with him in that? It's Tom Lennon and
What's
Matthew
his
Perry.
Matthew Perry.
no.
I don't mind that new show, but it just didn't look interesting to me.
Yeah.
I just those characters.
They
you
are
know.
insistent
Yeah.
to find a new vehicle for Matthew Perry, and it's just not working.
Yeah,
No.
he's stuck in that Friends thing.
Yeah.
It's like Joey. He's done right.
Actually, he has
He does that show
yeah,
episodes. It's
on
supposed to,
cable.
Okay.
Yeah.
supposed to be really good.
Yeah, people say it's really funny.
Well, it's like Seinfeld. A lot of they don't. It's hard to break out of that.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Look at
So-
Kramer.
What do we think the political career arc of Goldie Wilson was?
Oh, he made it to Senate. He definitely made it to Senate.
Oh, I love him, man.
I see somebody being arrested somewhere along the lines that something Goldie did, took some bribes.
No, I think he made it to Senate, and he ran for that presidency, but he just didn't make it. JFK won, and that's what happened. I messed up the timeline.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know history.
Yeah. No,
I don't
JFK
know.
was in the 60s.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Well, maybe.
No, yeah, it could have happened.
He could have. It
That
could
could
have
have been a
happened.
quick political race. He could have shot up superstar.
No, it could have
Nah,
happened.
not at that time. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's
I don't know.
I think.
But Tab, see the thing with Tab though, going back to the Tab thing, is Tab
Corey's
was its
favorite
big
soda.
was as big. It was disgusting, but it was big in the 80s. And
Yeah.
wasn't it linked to cancer for a while too?
Well, didn't it? Well, it had the.
Well, he had Tab.
saccharin.
Not only was there Tab, but he also wanted the Pepsi Free.
Yeah.
Pepsi free, and there was also that Carefree gum was linked to it too. But Tab, do they still make it?
No.
Yes, yeah,
Or
they
did
do. It's, you can get it. It's not like.
First off, it's called
Yeah.
Tab. And
I'm
it's the
gonna
most-
buy a 12 pack of Tab today.
It's the most 80s looking can.
Yeah.
It
everything
was
you want.
pink with the textile.
It was like one
Yeah.
of the first diet colas.
Yeah, it was, but it was
Yeah.
gross.
Like
Like
Fresca?
like no, Fresca's okay. Like you can drink
Yeah.
Diet Cola now and it doesn't taste that bad. Like back then, Diet was disgusting. It's like I don't know how people drank it.
Splendid's pretty bad.
No, I know,
This
but
is
I mean,
before Splenda.
yeah,
Splenda wasn't
like super
invented.
Splendid.
yeah,
This
no,
was
this was
saccharin.
Yeah,
yeah,
saccharin.
this was gross. Yeah, Tab and like
Well, that just goes to show you with Rusty. Like we don't like saccharin in the cancer stuff. He's like, what?
What?
yeah, no, like, it was all linked to it because obviously you didn't know until years later after people kept drinking it.
Well, no, I knew some of that. There are those best part of the 80s on VH1. Those reruns on Sunday mornings. I used
Yes.
to watch those as a kid. I know a little
You
bit.
make me sad.
Yeah. I'd find a nickel for every time I heard that.
Well, that was the thing with the saccharin is that they gave it, but then they gave it to the rats and they got cancer. So then they had to put the thing on the sugar packet saying like it could cause cancer and everything. But now
But keep putting it in your coffee, folks. You got to
but
stay awake.
Well, they took it off because they had to give so much saccharin to the rats for them to get cancer that you wouldn't take that much in. So sometimes, like if you drink too much water, you can kill yourself. So they're like, yeah, this really isn't.
And this is back in the day. You couldn't like Google it.
Yeah.
So like we just knew what people
You
told
could call 411.
No,
and
because
ask for a doctor.
401 wasn't around back then.
We could light up a cigarette wherever you wanted to.
Yeah, you couldn't. Hospitals, airplanes.
Hospital airplanes.
So
Yeah.
we know it was Biff, and somehow his grandson got named Griff. Where was the son in there at any point?
No.
Huh.
Was it like Spiff? Because
Wait.
okay,
Jif.
See, that's
That's
pushing
how
it to me,
Jiffy
though.
Lube
When you
got
call him
started.
Griff, that's
Well-
pushing it. It's like is Biff a real name or is it
Yeah,
short for
Biff.
something?
Yeah.
Is it legit a real name?
I-
Biff Tannen.
I know, but is Biff like it sounds like it's short for something?
Like I would think it was like a nick, like more of a nickname, like
it's
Biff.
Like
short.
Bartholomew.
But I think it was like a used name, like people use.
Bartholomew. That was his name. That was his full name, Bartholomew, and that's why he became a bully because he got made fun of as a little kid.
That's his real name?
No.
Oh. I don't know.
That should be Biff Tannen's backstory. That's what we should do.
We'll have to look it up. I don't know.
I'm
Skinny
sure somebody
Bartholomew
wrote something
was
about
born-
it.
Yeah.
There's like a whole like fanfic about it. That's
He lived with his grandma too. What happened to Biff's parents?
I don't know.
he did live with his grandma.
There we go.
well, that's probably why he's a bully. He didn't have his parents. He didn't have any.
Where'd he get that nice car? We don't. I think we're prejudging Biff
Or maybe
and his entire lineage of bad family
maybe
members.
he's so evil he killed his parents
Yeah.
in order to get the money.
He's got the Gray Sports Almanac, and he's listening to to the football
Yeah.
game on the way there. Why would you keep going to the dance? Just turn around and just start gambling at every game from that day forward. Who cares?
Because he just got the car fixed and he wanted to show it off at the dance. Come on, guys.
Yeah, but you could buy the company after you've done betting on these games.
But no one thought that big back then.
Well, Biff also isn't that smart.
Yeah,
I
it's,
don't think,
it's
so.
also Biff.
Well, what was the screen door on a submarine joke that he messed up? You could tell he wasn't the brightest light bulb.
Well,
in
also,
there.
what is it? The make like a tree and
Get
get
out
out
of
of
here.
here.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's leave. Yeah, and I love Great Scott.
Yeah.
When Doc says Great Scott, the way he says it, it just
Give us an impression, Corey.
no.
Come on.
I'm not going to butcher it.
Come
I'm
on.
not going to do it.
You can do it.
This is
Okay.
heavy. Why is everything so heavy? Is there a gravitational problem?
And the Under the Sea dance. There have never been a better theme for a dance than Under the Sea.
Enchantment under the sea.
Yeah,
Enchantment Under the Sea. Correction. Thank
Yep.
you.
No, it was a big deal because that's when dances mattered. They would dress up. I mean, it wasn't
Well,
a
there's
prom,
still
but they
prom,
acted.
Corey.
I mean, I don't know if they called it. I don't know if they called it prom or not.
Did they ever name his gang? Like the rest of his? Did they?
The Warriors.
Well, no,
know,
not the thing, but the rest of the guys.
If you go
like-
Flea was
further
one
into
of
the
them. Wasn't it
future,
Flea?
Biff is actually.
From Chili Peppers was one of those
Yeah,
guys, right?
Flea was one.
well, he was. Well, Flea was the guy from his age.
Yeah, I know, but
When
Flea's
he's
in the game. I don't know
driving.
what movie, but he's in
Wait,
one of the games.
Flea
Yeah.
is Back to the Future?
Yeah, he's one of the. He's
well,
one of
he's
Biff's
like
guys.
his boss. Like he
Yeah.
works with him. And then,
Mind blown.
then when he's back in 1985, remember, like he doesn't play music anymore
Yeah.
because he was in like something happened. And then when he was driving home, he was gonna race Flea.
Well, because he got in an
Needles.
accident.
Needles
Yeah.
was his
Needles.
name.
He
Yeah.
got in the accident where he's
That was
racing
Flea.
Needles, and
Needles
that's how
was
he heard
scarier
it.
than Biff. When your name's Needles, what are you doing? Biff, I'll get thrown around by Biff, but Needles, man.
I'm not touching
Yeah,
Needles.
You're fighting dirty, clearly.
And what's his name was in it too? Frodo.
He was.
Frodo's in but the second one.
He
He
is.
was.
No, I think that's faculty code.
What's his name? Is it Frodo?
No,
Elijah Wood.
Yeah,
Elijah
he's
Wood.
playing the video game in the second one.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. Oh, that's a
game.
baby's game.
Yeah, it's a baby.
Yeah.
He was playing the video game at the beginning.
Hogan's Alley.
Hogan's out.
Yeah, yep. He was playing it. So
You have to use your hands
that was cool.
again, like my dates.
And on that note,
Ding.
all right, guys. I hope you enjoyed us talking about one of our favorite movies, Back to the Future. Which we're gonna do a lot more podcasts on movies. It's one of my. As much as I love comics, I'll talk movies and sports more than anything, which I love doing.
I won't be here on the sports ones.
No, you're not allowed.
And no one likes the Red Sox.
I do. I love the Red Sox. That's right. Nobody likes them. I love them. So I like the Mets. So be careful.
Did you mix your pink shirts with your white socks? Is that why we're talking about Red Sox?
That was just awful.
It's okay.
You're never going to be on here again.
Ever?
Ever.
Yes.
You're done.
Done. I'll get in my DeLorean and I'll fix it.
So for Jay, Johnny, Rusty, and myself, we'll see you guys later.
Adios, people.
Be good.
All right.
Speak for me.
Zapp Comics Radio Podcast.